black wearing a blue hoodie.
Robert, I'm not gonna
Third
ask
male
the same
black wearing
question.
a gray, dark-colored hoodie.
I mean, I'm really
Unknown direction of flight at this
interested in
time.
why a man wants someone that's dressed to the detail, meticulously dressed like a woman, head to toe. And then it's time to take it to the bedroom, and the clothes come off, and it's a man. And you're turned on by this. I don't. Does that mean that person?
Well, usually those men that are attracted to that are usually homosexual, but they don't feel comfortable, maybe in public being with another man. Somebody else like a woman.
Well, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I remember there was a documentary I saw on YouTube where there was a man that was actually a child, and he went to Thailand, and he wanted to marry this male that dresses like a girl, and the daughter was very upset about it. He actually wanted to marry her.
Robert, how did this become common in America?
Well, there's something to say about the hormones when people are hormones goes told. If somebody has an anger issue or is an aggressive person, those hormones could trigger that. Right?
Hey, Robert, you answered the $1 million question.
Mobilizations in regards to a confirmed person shot. At this time, they're looking for 3 male blacks, 1 male black wearing gray sweatpants, gray hoodie, gray underwear. Second male black wearing a blue hoodie. Third male black wearing a gray, dark-colored hoodie. Unknown direction of flight at this time.
77 WABC.
Midnight 5900, I was once again in the compound at a 75 precinct. 75 charges falling on level 1 mobilization regarding to confirmed person shot. Mobilization plane 503, Hewlett Avenue, picking up Belmont Enterprise. Be advised to look for a total of 3 male. One is wearing gray sweatpants, gray hoodie, gray underwear. Second one's wearing a hoodie. Third male black is wearing a dark color hoodie, unknown direction of flight.
The crown jewel of talk radio. WABC
And the third male black.
Haverstraw and 107.1 WLIR.
Dark gray hoodie, unknown direction of flight.
At 59 past the hour. 77
Check the allowance of the train.
Mostly cloudy skies on this Tuesday, February 17th. Good morning, I'm Lisa Ritchie. A force note has been sent to TMZ by somebody claiming to know what happened to Nancy Guthrie and demanding confidential payment for their information. With the outlet's founder, Harvey Levin, asking them to prove their claims are real by revealing what they know. The European Union is sending an observer to this week's meeting of President Trump's new Board of Peace after declining an invitation to join. Ross Cullen has more.
The Board of Peace is designed to oversee Gaza's reconstruction.
One is wearing a gray, sometimes gray hoodie, gray underwear.
President Trump said Board of Peace members have promised more than $5 billion for Gaza humanitarian and reconstruction efforts. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is assuring European leaders that the U.S. remains committed to its alliances. Jamie Trio has more. Speaking in Slovakia on Sunday, Rubio said the U.S. does not feel a threat to see NATO grow its own capabilities in conjunction with the United States.
We're not leaving NATO. We're not leaving. I mean, we may move a couple thousand troops from one country to another, but this has always been the case. This has always happened.
He went on to say that we don't want Europe to be dependent on the U.S., adding we want to be your partner. Rubio traveled to Slovakia and Hungary for regional security meetings after taking part in the Munich Security Conference in Germany. I'm Tammy Trujillo. Union City, New Jersey residents posted video on social media of what appears to look like masked ICE agents taking 2 people into custody outside of a church on 19th Street Sunday morning. This comes days after Governor Mikey Sherrill announced a program to limit ICE raids in the Garden State. Former President Barack Obama is breaking his silence on a racist video that was recently shared on social media by President Trump.
There doesn't seem to be any shame about this among people who used to feel like you had to have some sort of decorum and a sense of propriety and respect for the office.
Trump claims he was unaware of a portion of the video he shared earlier this month in which Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama were portrayed as apes, but he has not apologized. New York Senator Chuck Schumer is introducing legislation that keeps the pride flag up in Lower Manhattan after the Trump administration removed it.
This is not about a technical rule. It's about dignity. It's about visibility. It's about respect.
The Trump administration issued guidance only allowing the American flag to be flown at National Park Service lands, which includes the Stonewall Monument in Lower Manhattan. We warn you, Amtrak and NJ Transit commuters are now facing major disruptions over the next month because of construction on the new Portal Bridge in northern New Jersey.
Go there earlier. In general. Yeah, I gotta leave a little earlier. Gotta be prepared for a couple of delays.
Officials have put out new schedules that have up to a 60% reduction in service. The Morris, Essex, Gladstone, and Montclair Booten lines have no direct weekday service into Midtown. Actor Robert Duvall has died at the age of 95. He passed away peacefully at his home in Middleburg, Virginia. Duvall starred in such classics as The Godfather and Apocalypse Now, among others. He won the Academy Award for Best Actor playing a former country music star in the 1983 film Tender Mercies. Pokemon card has set the world record for the most expensive trading card ever sold at auction, going under the hammer at $16.5 million. The Pikachu Illustrator card was one of around 40 made back in 1998 for a contest. The UK is considering a ban on social media for children under age 16. Michael Kastner has the story.
Similar bans implemented in Spain, Greece, Slovenia, and Australia. Britain passed an Online Safety Act in 2023 that is viewed as one of the strictest internet safety laws in the world. But a loophole is that it doesn't cover one-on-one interactions with AI chatbots. A new law would close that loophole. I'm Michael Kastner.
Down detector showed thousands of users began reporting issues with X just after 8 a.m. Eastern Monday morning. Users reported receiving error messages and feeds not loading. X has not said what the cause was, but it seems to be resolved. In sports, Team Stars crushed Team Stripes 47-21 to claim the NBA All-Star Game Championship. Jalen Brunson scored 3 points for the Stripes in the loss. Carl Anthony.
Oh, yeah, you like that, huh?
Points over 2 games for Team World. In baseball, spring training ramps up this week. Full squads report for the Yankees and the Mets. Yankees outfielder Aaron Judge was cleared for workouts after recovering from an elbow injury. Your forecast overnight, clouds and drizzle below 34 degrees. Later today, mainly cloudy with a high around 48. Wednesday's outlook calls for scattered showers and some icy drizzle with a high of 43.
You like that, huh?
Skies outside of our Midtown studios. I'm Lisa Ritchie. Remember, the news never stops.
War driving.
ABCRadio.com.
You know what war driving is? We're war driving. We're war driving. Oh, yeah. You fuckers don't even know what war driving is. You never heard of it.
Everybody loves Cole. One of the great stars of the city's history. Just a great New Yorker. All bunch more disco on the way. Watch and discuss Tuesday edition, Sid Friends in the morning. Listen anytime. 77 WABCRadio.com and the 77 WABC app. The power of information 24/7. Just say.
Hi, 77 WABC.
This is the other side of midnight. Running a strange program, y'all, with Lionel.
you gonna do the other side of midnight? I gotta jump into this right away because we have a lot for you to talk about right now. Don't even think about moving anywhere. Tonight, I'm gonna give you an idea. We're gonna take you into four different areas, 4 different realms, 4 different hours, 4 different levels of depth. And the first is going to be something called True Crime and Law. This is going to be something which we're going to introduce, which I'm going to peruse and I'm going to review a number of stories that I'm giving you a kind of a hard charging, I guess, legal breakdown of headline cases, unsolved mysteries, courtroom strategy, but not just what happened, but why it happened. I'm going to also focus on prosecutorial discretion, evidentiary standards, media bias, and the psychology of crime. This is from the viewpoint of being a prosecutor, defense lawyer, investigative reporter. This is where law meets narrative. That's our first. Later on, deep state or justice state, culture under siege, and midnight mystery. Let me just tell you something. Do not even think that you could just kick in for a couple of minutes here or there. I will commit you until 5 a.m. and then I will let you go. Right after that, I want to talk to you about this notion of crime. Crime is the story of true crime that is absolutely grabbing everybody's attention is this Guthrie case.
Only a stupid person would think that.
People who don't have any insight whatsoever into anything are absolutely positively focused on this thing called the Guthrie case. You got that? Now, it's something that is beyond the realm of just figuring out who did it, what happened, where is she
yeah, bumps, shit.
Competence and distraction, the likes of which I have never seen. This 84-year-old mother of Savannah Guthrie, FBI raid. Now the family has been cleared. Things are with that. This blows my mind. There is a woman. She's very good. Her name is Ashley Van. Ashley Banfield used to be with this station that a few people watch. And for some reason, she was relegated to this position of kind of podcasting. And podcasting, as you know, in the world of TV, kind of is well, I don't want to say it's relegated. I don't want to say it's given short shrift. But it's bigger than anything you can imagine. And she wants to make a name for herself. My God, that's great. I understand it. Good for her. So what she did was she said that Tommaso Cione, who was brother-in-law of Savannah Guthrie and the son-in-law of Nancy Guthrie, that he was the number one top suspect. Top suspect. The top suspect. Number one. Based upon this reference to a top-placed, well-placed law enforcement with impeccable credentials. This one particular person. Hey, you can absolutely bet your life. Number one. And then there's clear vision. How does that work? Be prepared, ready.
Nah, this is great. The streets are dead.
You know, years ago,
Ain't nobody out but the cops.
slander, defamation, no one bothered with that. Just because it didn't matter.
Streets are dead.
Explained to New York Times versus Sullivan, the standard public figure. I don't want to get into that. It was very difficult for you as a public figure to sue somebody. It's just, but he's not a public figure. She is, but he is. Well, those days are over with. So watch what happens. Now, what happened yesterday was it's basically done. The family's been cleared, and they're at ground zero. And Savannah Guthrie is putting out these plaintive, these kind of a sad stories that really go nowhere. And I'm wondering, what is the point of this? Where are you going? How does this work? And then you have this Sheriff Nano, who is fighting to specifically with the FBI. And this is the guy who, and I still cannot believe it, actually allowed a pool cleaning service to come
Space, you
with
have a fire for the
brushes
80?
and chemicals to a crime
497,
for reasons I will never understand ever. Then there's another case, a brand new offer, a brand new communication with TMZ regarding information from people who say, we know who did this, and that she, Nancy, could be in Mexico with another family. Now, does that mean she's alive? Does that mean she's alive? I'm sorry to tell you, my friends. I say to you, I think that is absolutely, positively the remotest of the remote. Okay? 17 days after the fact, with no communication whatsoever, with an 84-year-old woman, who has comorbidities and a variety of problems and a lot of conditions. I don't know if they're heart or high blood pressure, who needs medication. I hate to say. And then President Trump weighs in. Listen to this. You may think this is groovy, but let me tell you what there is. In the event they were to find, in the event somebody were to be arrested, do you think that will happen? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think those folks are long gone. I don't think anybody, unless somebody flips, somebody's caught, I don't think anything is going to happen. Anything. It is so botched. The trail is so cold. All the confusion that has been involved in, and I'm telling you, I talk to friends of mine, people in the know, and I'm asking you, can you believe what we're seeing? Can you believe this? Remember when the good guys won? Remember when kidnapping was straight? I take your person, here is my demand, leave the money in a bag by the school, by the bus stop, and we're happy. And next thing you know, you show up, and grandma's in the back of the car, tied up with a blindfold and happy, and everybody moves on. And that's gone. That is gone. It's another story altogether. But yet, what I find so fascinating, and I mean, I barely find anybody who has any interest in anything even remotely in the news. Now, you're a different story. We're a different story. I understand that. We're cut from a different cloth. We are from a different realm. We are fascinated by things that, frankly, most people are not, and for good reason. But this one, different. Something about this. Why? True crime, who done it? Compare and contrast this to O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson was fantastic. It was, we know who it was, we know who did it, we didn't know how they were going to prove it. Just like with Columbus. Columbus started the show, we find out he's murderer, and then you figure out how does Columbus figure it out. That's what that is. This is, we don't know who did it. None of it makes sense. We don't have any of the facts. We don't know anything. We don't even know if this person that we've seen for the millionth time, remember back and forth over and over, they showed this guy at the range home, but then the forth with the gamers. We don't even know if he had anything running to do with it. They say he did. We don't even know if anybody was in the house. I want to know, can you show me a link? This is the former prosecutor. I mean, it's simple. You don't need to be one. This is common sense. Can you show me what it looks like inside? Can I see her bed? Did she ever make it to bed? Is there blood in there? Were things knocked over? Was there any evidence that anybody breached the perimeter? What about that back door that was open? Were there windows broken? Did anybody ever make it inside? And did she make it out the back door? Why would they go out the front door? And if they didn't go out the front door, where is the blood from? You see what I'm saying? None of it makes it. Every time I think, aha, we're getting someplace, we don't get someplace. It is one of the stories which is so interesting. And then somebody was asking yesterday, I forget where it is. How do you explain the cold-hearted nature of these individuals who can take this role? How?
Are they psychopaths? No. They're criminals. How can you take this woman? People have a mother. People have a grandmother. Don't they understand how this thing works? What kind of sick and depraved individual?
20 on Lexington Avenue, East 12 to 215 operations on Rising 1 and Brown Street level.
So I'm curious, what has been your take on this? Because your insight is critical. Because everybody that I know who points something out reminds me that you're a potential juror. You could be a juror. You could be looking at this case and saying, well, what about the facts of this that bother you? What is the thing that doesn't make sense?
Over the night, the fourth via HB on the cell phone, flat male black was stabbed on the cell phone. Huge raid by another male black.
There's something
No
about
location coming from 6 Florida. Male black was stabbed on the cell phone, Quincy train by another male.
that is not believed. That is not legitimate. Now, I don't want to go
Park side
that
of the boy
far,
and Park side of boy
soon,
and
that deep. But then they're going to her political
That's why the unit responding.
her political conviction. Did you ever see her interview
32 Sergeant Red,
interrogate President Trump?
32
It
responding.
was one of the worst
2 Sergeant
things
notified,
ever. She
10
said,
4.
would you
Robert Live advised
disavow
the 94.
President Trump? These wild, crazy conspiracy theories of there being systems of pedophiles in the government
Can I
and
please get a bus for
connections.
a
And I'm thinking to myself, boy, that didn't age well. You mean like now? You mean like now? Because what we are seeing as people pour through the Epstein case is the sickest, violent, eyes wide shut, Abramovich, spirit-looking, Pizzagate lunacy. I mean, it is beyond anything I ever thought even remotely possible. And there she was, told what to say, and her words wouldn't even hold up because that's precisely the way this is. Plus her husband, as you know. And by the way, everybody was involved in one way, was quote mentioned in the Epstein files.
But no first location.
By me, who knows? But the bottom line is simply this. Do you ever think this is going to be so? And what if it's not?
HPI.
What happens if one day Sheriff says, well,
That's 4.
that's it. Let's pick up and go. Let's go. And you want to clean up, grab your stuff. Sorry. Have a nice day. And they just move on. What if this is even more hard to believe. What if it just stopped? No more communication. The kidnappers say, you know what, it's not worth it. This is too risky. We've gotten this far, we got away with it. The body's never recovered. What if he's never recovered? Think about it. Is that even possible? You better believe it. Never recovered. Never buried. There's never, quote, closure. This would be probably the first time when somebody was taken, they went through the throes or the particular procedures of the kidnapping, and it just ended. There was no conclusion. There was no turnover. There was no handoff. Nothing. Think about that.
That's 30
Never happened, I
responses.
think, in the history of human or American criminal law, criminal prosecution, criminal activity. How much your thoughts and comments? 800-848-9222.
I have a traffic post 3001, 3001
And also,
at High Street at the Adam and Charlie.
there is something that gets me. These are the people who continue to sex to teenagers. Pictures of themselves.
30 responses was negative. There is no unit at High Street.
Why do they do that?
Control.
I've got the story for you. Don't even think about going anywhere. This is Lionel with it. The other side of it.
Others
10 4, 30 responses was 121.
Thank you. Interest rates decline. So do returns on money market accounts. Are you concerned that your earnings for higher returns on average real estate capital square is offering 9% first thought in housing trust firm real estate investment trust is made monthly by their direct deposit right into your bank account. For more information, contact Capital Square at invest@capitalsq.com or just call 833-377. Capital Square now.
What if the future of finance wasn't built around averages, but around chances? Abacus Global Management, we're reshaping financial planning around the most personal data. Your lifespan. What is your website? It's Control. Technology-driven asset manager. We're empowering investors and creating to take action. Your time, your future, your financial destiny. This is a new era of investing. Take control at abacusgm.com.
26 plus 14.
Staten Island law firm of Aunt Julia Gentili John Time is 122 for 40 years. The Staten Island law firm of Aunt Julia Gentili has been helping people just like you. Call 718-816 0005 or visit aglaw.com. This is John advertising here on WABC. Just common sense. Nielsen has said that WABC is one of the leading AM stations in the country. Tell me where we can help with. WABCRadio.com. And I will get back to you and give you a great deal that you can get on WABC. At WABCRadio.com. My friends, listen to me what I'm telling you. Listen to me. I've seen this before. The first thing is the store. I'm not there. I'm flying west. You know what? I'm not left. Sure. I've never seen somebody where all of a sudden they just might indicate, they might say, you know what, let's just go. Not a loss, let's just go. And there's no conclusion whatsoever. Next, as I told you, there's a story out of Florida. This is the one that I cannot understand. I cannot possibly understand as much as I try. I understand serial killers. I can understand serial rapers. Now, I may understand, I don't agree with them, but I understand the mindset. I understand it. This is the one I don't understand. A Florida man is Cody Erskine is charged after allegedly sending a naked selfie to a 15-year-old he coached and attempting to groom her. Prompting outrage, of course, from the girl's father and guy and all kinds of hell breaking news. Why? A good friend DC before us was talking about why would men want to be with women or men who got happened. It's a good question. 9100 direction. Oh, yeah, I have the right. But if you know you're going to get caught, if I said, hey, buddy, here's a gun. What do you know what he's doing? What is it, gun? Say hello. You say, I'm going to get caught. Oh, come on. People don't do that. People say, no, listen, I have to wear a mask. They might find out who I am. Do you hear what I'm saying? They might find out who I am. In the case of these creeps who send pictures, they want you to know who they are. It's pointless if you don't know who they are. There is a guy, I'm not gonna, but he's a kind of individual. Whenever I see him, I'm thinking, yeah, sure. This guy's through everything away, sending your picture of whatever it is. And how does that work? You're a woman, you go, hey, and then they just a bit ahead on him. Let me see, what is this? What the hell? Who is this? And then they say, it's me. Hey, hubba. What is it? What is it that you want? And there were other people as well, talking about ex-congressmen who basically, their life, and I don't understand, who went to prison for sending a picture wrong, and when you want to commit a crime, don't want to get caught. Unless you're doing something like you want to climb a flagpole and you want to make some type of political thing. In this case, it is not intentionally. Unless you get exposed out and you're going to go to prison. You're going to get, your life will be ruined. You'll be on a sexual offender list until the day you die. I've had clients who are on that called Hippery. Well, basically, when they investigated, they dropped the case. They still on the list. Why? Because there was some investigation made in our name. But we were clear. Doesn't matter. Expunge the records and they say, no, this isn't a criminal record, this is an administrative here. Administrative report. But it was unfounded. I know, but it was unfounded. I don't understand. This is the one, in one old side of it, there are women. I had a friend of mine who represented one of the very famous cases. There was a woman, you would say, this is a very proud woman, attractive woman, young woman, educated, a teacher. She could go on to it. I mean, they had her groomed. She threw it all away. All it wanted to do was a more. I just wanted to bury her. I mean, they had to respond to her. What is it? Why does it make you nuts? JD in Florida, you're on the other side of midnight with Lionel.
Hey, Lionel, you hear me all right? Just,
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So, to follow up on what you just said, I feel like a lot of times, you know, sex is an addiction, just like any drug. And, you know, you gotta
Or is it exhibitionist?
I don't know where the name is the jacket, black and blank, set off on the edge, as per
You're the guy that talks. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Anyway, it's been a while, man. I hope you and yours are blessed.
Indeed.
And all your family as well.
Indeed, sir.
I just wanted to relate to what you said about the Guthrie case. And it shows that very interview that you were mentioning. I feel like that's why Trump initiated, you know, FBI and DOJ. They'll figure out that human family members go missing every day.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, because it's the Van Guthrie, now we got the FBI out there. And, you know, and I feel like, you know, because it's always 3 steps ahead of these videos. You know, I feel like if they get a sister or a founder or whatever.
But the person who was responsible more than anybody else is the sheriff in Anniston. This is the guy who is responsible like nobody's business. When I
It takes them a week to get over there with homicide. It takes them a week to get the place up. I mean, what is going on?
It absolutely blows my mind. And not only that, when the FBI says we have the FBI lab at Quantico, we can take the results immediately and put it into CODIS. This is our DNA compared address. Nano says, oh no, we're there. We have a company in Florida. They did it. Why wouldn't you go to the FBI? Because, by the way, he's got low. You know that he had a woman that he was running against. A woman who was running against for his office. And I think another one who basically raised some type of administrative complaint against him. And he had both Dixie from Fort Walton Beach, Florida, on the other side of midnight with Lionel.
Hi, Lionel. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just
With regard to a number of attempts to break into the men's public restroom in the bathroom, all blue.
I can't say these words because they're swear words, but I think Savannah Guthrie should have gotten, she needs to get tough. She should
Oh,
have,
yes.
from the beginning, she should have looked into the camera and said, you piece of,
Right.
okay, you son of a,
Right.
you bring my mother back right now. I have $1 million for you. The hell with the Bitcoin. You take my money and you bring my mother back right now. She just doesn't have any spunk to her, you know, and she gets on there and says, you know, oh, well, what she says is today, I would say, it's never too late.
You know, right.
Come on, quit, get on his, this guy is a professional, Lionel. If he had been a professional, he would have known that there was going to be a camera at the door.
Let me ask you a question. What would be the purpose of angering him? Of insulting him? What would be the purpose? What if they took it out on the mother? You ready for this? Now listen to this one. You want to hear something that'll blow your mind?
High Street.
Listen to this, and this is from X, all right? There is a person by the name of Madeline Case Tweet. Savannah Guthrie has a book, a memoir called Mostly What God Does. Reflections on Seeking and Finding Your Love Everywhere. New York Times best-selling author Savannah Guthrie. Are you ready for this? Okay? The mention of kidnapping in Savannah Guthrie's book appears in her 2024 memoir or reflection. And in it, she describes a childhood game her family played during summer visits in Arizona. Her cousin, who lived in Phoenix, now listen to this, would stage playful mock kidnapping. This involved rounding up Savannah, her sister Annie, and other cousins, loading them into a station wagon, driving them on a fun road trip, for example, to Tucson, from Tucson to Phoenix, and then calling home from a payphone. Their mom, Nancy Guthrie, would pretend to be shocked and play along, eventually driving up to retrieve them after a few days. Little Savannah would even joke things like, okay, we'll come get you in a few days. Did you hear what I just said? She used to kid about kidnapping. You can't make this up. So I went in and I did a little ChatGPT check, and I said, is this correct? And they said, yes. Because, by the way, ChatGPT is so hardcore in terms of verifying. Yes, that story you mentioned about Savannah Guthrie and her cousin staging mock kidnappings in Arizona is real and comes from her own writing. In her memoir, this is ChatGPT, she recounts summers visiting relatives when her cousin Terry would playfully kidnap her, her sister Annie, and other cousins, piling them into a station wagon. Now that story from her childhood isn't some rumor. It's something she shared in print. Now, let me ask you something. I don't want to be Mr. Conspiracy Theory, and I'm not suggesting that that is in any way some kind of an indication of her complicity. But of all the things, did you ever play kidnapping when you were a kid? You probably did, but I still do. By yourself. Everybody who was it one time? Was it Blazing Saddles? He took himself hostage. Watch it or he gets him. Oh no! They're going to kill me! Watch it! And he's taking himself hostage. Can you believe this?
That is weird.
Now, when it's like, you know what it is? No. I am the most, absolutely the most unquote conspiracy theory person you have ever met. I know that's hard for people to believe, but I said, no, wait a minute, hold it. Now, hang on to me. Now, wait a minute. Okay, you might be wearing red shoes. Okay, wait, because people will find everything. But this kidnapping? Now, here's another one, too. Imagine. I don't think you've got the full case. I don't think you've got the full story. Sometimes there are people, there are children who never come back. So we'll be doing this on Warrior Wednesday tomorrow with my beloved. She'll tell you some stories that are just, well, all of a sudden, remember, Eitan Tate, Nab, never seen again. He was the first child they put his picture in the milk cart. Right here in the Soho or whatever, right here. We didn't have abductions. I mean, there might have been one or two, but not. I remember when I was a kid, we didn't even have serial killers. We had abductions. Okay. Those are different. Nab. But kidnapping in our vernacular implies giving the person back, pursuant to the finding of some kind of a condition. In this case, what if they just go away? It never happened. Never. There's nothing at all. Now, let's talk about criminal minds, okay? Because they are the most fascinating. And let me tell you something. I have always said, I guarantee you, there has never been an individual that when you finally catch the person, they looked anything like the person you were anticipating. Son of Sam, even Richard Ramirez, Ted Bundy for sure, BTK, Green River Killer, Gary Heidnik, maybe. Albert Fish. Albert Fish is still the gold standard in the 20s. Albert Fish was so demented. Her name was Bud. What was her name? Bud or something Bud. It was in the 20s here in New York. That he took this woman, this girl, and cannibalized. And on death row, he would send letters to the family describing how he tortured her. This guy, and if you saw him, he looks like your grandpa. White hair. Do you know that Albert Fish, when they went to try to electrocute him, they found some problems with things short-circuiting, the story goes. And they said, what is the matter? They did an x-ray. In his inguinal area, you know where that is? That's in the crook of your leg, right around the groin area, where they found needles, more needles that he had placed in him. This is Albert Fish. One of the, in the painting, I don't look at these people glowingly, but in terms of strange, Albert Fish is there. Remember that. Gary Heidnik, really bad. There was another one, the Pool Q Killer. Oh, man. And Ted Bundy, the worst. The worst of the worst.
There's a whole bunch of killers. Killers. Killers.
Listen to this. And imagine what kind of mentality goes through. In Fargo, police believe the 25-year-old man murdered and dismembered his girlfriend and is now charged with murder, evidence tampering, and providing false information. Authorities continue to search for critical evidence. Now, I've always wondered, when you get somebody for murdering and dismembering them, can we forget about the witness evidence tampering? Can we just, you know what I mean? And how about providing false information? Are we going to tack that on? But they've always said the woman was stabbed, beaten, strangled, and assaulted. Wait a minute. Now, here's the thing. Imagine you're sitting down with this person. And you can ask him anything. Dismembering? Do you know what we're talking about? There's one thing that people do, you know, in the world, you know about here, about the Gemini Lounge and organized crime. Roy DeMeo, even Murder Incorporated, the Westies, who would basically take people and to dismember. Let me just leave it at, I'm not going to go too much into detail, but it's a little bit more complicated than you would think. Certain things are not as complicated as you think. Beheading is not as complicated. But there was a fellow, it was Ed the Butcher Kaminsky. I mean, there were these stories. Here's my question, not to belabor the point, there's no way for me to explain what I'm about to tell you now without giving you a little bit of an intro. I want you to imagine sitting down with a man 25 years old. I'll bet you he's never had any criminal activity whatsoever. This is his girlfriend. Ostensibly, there was a period of love, but they were together. How do you explain dismembering? What did you think? Where were you going with it? Why don't you just leave her? And again, you have to ask yourself. That's what I want to know. If I did something, and if I did, I would go as far away as I can. Maybe little things like, I don't know, burying somebody, just get them away from here. But to commit yourself to the process, and I'll bet you it was his first time he did it. It makes you crazy. So, in the case of kidnapping, in the case of this man who threw his life away, pales by comparison, sending pictures. What were you thinking? All of the crimes I understand, drug dealing, burglary, robbery, I get it. I honestly got it. I get it. I understand it. They're probably not necessarily the worst people in the world, but nobody scratches their head. But when we get into this kind of depraved activity, what we're seeing more and more is the creation of this thing called sexting. You remember in the old days, if you ask young people, obscene phone calls, there's no such thing as an obscene phone. Why is that today? Why do you think? Nobody answers the phone. If you don't know the number, nobody's going to take it. Nobody's going to pick it up. And it was a pain in the neck in the old days, before there was caller ID. Remember there was star 69, you hit the button and, hey, the last caller was. But if it was a payphone or if you did something to disable. So we had, as a prosecutor, if you wanted to charge them, you wanted to actually charge somebody with obscene phone calls, women had to keep track of when it came in. You would then go to the phone company. You get a phone application for a pen register. Somebody would go down and figure out that this call came in at this exchange. And then you have to say, well, great, I've got a phone number. What is that? And I actually prosecuted somebody. It was successful. And it was I swear to you, I think SEC 10b-5 litigation, stock insider trading is easier than. But that went away. That went away with cell phones. You would think people would be able to do enough. So if you were an obscene phone caller, you were out of it. Before that, there was something called a flash. And the flashers play. The trench coat. Look at me. Why did we stop that? They just stopped. It's like that's so, 50s? They don't do that. Now, in subways, they go to whole Manila. Remember the fellow who died on the subway as somebody was having their way with the corpse? You can't write this. I told the story to them. They said, oh, stop that. I said, I'm not making this up. Today's level of depravity is a whole other story. So new technology gives us new crime. Okay. So somebody says, hey, I've got this thing, it's called a phone. Really? Yeah. I can take a picture and send it to you. Okay, that's pretty good.
See? Smile. Hey,
Is that you on a 75
you have to take pictures of anything and
Maybe
send it
technical
to people?
difficulties with the mobile devices, but all jobs are in.
What? I'm going to take a picture of myself in mid-Tibet and send it to some 15-year-old and ruin my life. And they said, yeah, but can you send it anonymously? No. If it's anonymously, it doesn't matter. She's got to know who I am. She's got to know who I am before I ruin my life. In order for me to go to prison and ruin and have my whole family disown me, and for me to go on these sexual abuse registries and for the rest of my life, no, I have to let her know who I am. I must do it. I think about this one particular person. I was making millions of dollars. And instead of saying, I'm not a networker, I can't do this. I can't do this. Remember the old stories of Matt Lauer, Charlie Rose? I knew about Charlie Rose. I didn't even work with Charlie Rose. I knew about Charlie Rose. What is with people? So what we need to know is simply this. You're a psychiatrist. See, I want to understand why people do things. I understand the kidnapping. I understand why. You wanted to do it to make money. But this is the part that I don't understand. This is my part. All you had to do to cover up a little tiny family, you need to get little dusty, little gaffers, little shaving cream, spray paint, I don't care. Did you ever think of that? No, this guy is talking about sending Bitcoin. And has a Bitcoin wallet, but he can't figure out how to put a piece of tape. And what do you think about Savannah playing kidnapping as a kid? You don't think that's strange? I'm not suggesting it's, but of all the games in the world that they could have, all the games they could have played, isn't that the strange? Our number is 800-844-9222, 800-8, what is it? I just lost my mind. 800-848-9222. There we go. See, I just got so, all this talk about kidnapping and trench coats, it does it. 800-848-9222. When we return, also, the mentality, the mindset of the killer. As I told you, after years and years of studying, I finally understand how to explain it.
Father's Side Midnight I thought my dogs, Anyway 2.0, were just getting old, losing that spark. But a few weeks ago, after adding rough greens to their food, I saw a marked difference. They got their energy back. Their coats look amazing. Ain't no saying like rough greens totally changed the game. Rough greens isn't some food gimmick. It's a live nutritional supplement you just sprinkle right on your food. You don't need to switch, kibble, or wet food. Just add it in. It's packed with probiotics, vitamins, omega oils, stuff that helps their joints, their digestion, and even their milk support. Why does it work? Because dog food is dead food. It's been cooked and processed until all the good stuff is gone. Rough Greens brings back the nutrition my pets really need. I don't just recommend Rough Greens, I depend on it to keep my dogs both happy and healthy. Right now, Rough Greens is offering a free Jumpstart trial bag. You just cover the cost of shipping. Go to roughgreens.com and use promo code STONE. That's roughgreens.com, promo code STONE.
I'm also Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. I am quite aware of the dangers being on the road. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. These families' lives will be changed in an instant. We fight for these families as if they were our own. We've become America's largest injury law firm by winning cases just like these. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Injured, dial Pal Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The views and opinions expressed by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect the policies or positions of WHC Radio, its management, or its sponsors.
You talk, we listen.
Talk to me, talk to me now. Talk to me, talk to me now. Talk to me, talk to me.
The Other Side of Midnight with Lionel.
All right, Lionel, this is The Other Side of Midnight. Now, somebody the other day was asking about how can somebody kidnap? People love to use the word psychopath. You're a psychopath. No, you're not. Stop using the word psychopath. That's a term of art that has nothing to do with somebody that says, I'll do that. I'll do that. There are people who are raised, depending upon where you're from, they're in let's say a family or a situation or what have you, and they are presented with a lifestyle where somebody says, could you go and kill somebody? They say, yeah. Not only that, they like the street cred and that sort of thing. But one of the best examples I've ever heard, one of the most important and the most, I guess, informative, was a guy named Bernard Giles. And he was interviewed by Piers Morgan, who for all practical purposes is a waste of time. And they asked him one time, they said, Mr. Giles, why did you do this? Because in the study of serial killers, what makes him special was he got a late start, but he did all of his serial killing in like 11 months. Like 5 women, boom. Normally it's 1, 3 years, wait, cooling off. It builds up again. They go for long periods of respite. It's like there's this internal, this pressure, this craving. He did it all in one shot. Like 4 or 5, in like 11 months. It was, in the annals of serial killing, he was quite the accelerated performer. And they asked him, Piers Morgan asked him, why? He is the most soft-spoken. He's from Florida. That tells you a lot. Like Titusville, right around the Cape Canaveral. And he said, Mr. Morgan, what do you enjoy doing? What gives you pleasure? He said, ooh. And he said that the first time he killed, he said the feeling he had was of overwhelming excitement. He said, I could feel the atoms vibrate. I'll never forget that. And I understood exactly what he was saying. The notion, so horrible, so horrific. He wasn't in terms of bad serial killers. They're all bad. A lot of folks are more tortured or back or souvenirs. Oh, I'm not going to waste your time with it. But this was something, his life was so dead. And I'm thinking, of all the things for you to try to incorporate excitement into your life, this is a bit extreme. But instead, saw Adams vibrate. Martin in upstate. Martin, you're on the other side of midnight with a Lionel.
Hey there, good morning, Lionel.
Yes, sir.
So I get the New York Post, right? I read
Congratulations.
the New York on a regular basis. So I noticed lately lots of stories about these female teachers, like 30-ish, 30-ish. Sometimes they're married. They have a picture, and they have a picture, and many times they're good looking, you know?
And your question is,
They are messing around with it. They get caught messing around with a student, underage boy.
I understand. And
So you were talking about why do people do this? Blow their career away and everything. Why is this? I mean, it's odd. It seems to me.
That's exactly, I like that. Thank you, by the way. It's a very interesting technique. I'm going to use this to call up someone and say, you know, Mr. Blaze, you're saying, why do people go and desecrate statues to make a political... Why do they do that? That's what I was asking. Very interesting.
It's a good point, though. Arnold calling. Arnold and Brooke Arnold topped out.
Good early morning. I hope you don't charge Mr. Kessler TV the legal fee for this question. This is a hypothetical. I am Dudley Wolfright, and I set up a public accommodation in the magical state of Texas-Florida, which is a free carry state. And I post a gun-free zone, but I do absolutely nothing to enforce it. And then something happens on the premises of the gun. Does the person who is suffering have a claim for liability against the owner? Or do we say if you were stupid enough to go in there, then you're contributory negligence?
You're saying that a person who abides by your rule of being gun-free, because they are not armed, because they're not able to self-defend themselves, whereas if they had a gun, they would be able to do so. Because by virtue of the fact that they followed your edict or your prohibition, you're asking, do they have a cause of action for you if they're unable to defend themselves because they followed your rules?
Right, and the fact that it's not being enforced.
Let me give you an example. This is the legal answer to every legal question ever asked. Mr. Mankind. It's defense. Now, coming up, the second installment of our forecast decision is called Deep State or Just the State. We're going to be looking at power, bureaucracy, and institutional overreach. We're going to be exploring governmental secrecy, regulatory capture, whistleblowers, intelligence community action. We're going to separate conspiracy theory from conspiracy facts. We're also going to be talking about deep state versus shadow government and what this means. Only on the other side of midnight, if you even think of leaving, I will curse you for the rest of your life.
77 WABC, Staten Island law firm of Anjuli and Gentili John Time, 159.
The Staten Island law firm of Anjuli and Gentili, helping people just like you for 40 years. Walk with confidence. Call 718-816-0005 or visit aglawnyc.com.
This is New York's talk leader, the crown jewel of talk radio. WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, 1071 WLIR Hampton Bay. At 59 past the hour. 77 WABC News. Now.
Mostly cloudy this Tuesday, February 17th. Good morning, I'm Lisa Ritchie. 3 people are dead, including the gunman after shooting at an indoor ice arena in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. It happened Monday afternoon during a high school boys hockey tournament. Police say the shooter fatally shot himself after the incident. He's going near the Dennis M. Lynch Arena.
I see this arena when I'm at school every day. My immediate reaction is heartbreak. It's so devastating, you know.
Pawtucket Police Chief Tina Goncalves says 3 other people are in critical condition. She added it appears to be a targeted event that stemmed from a family dispute. The search for missing 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie enters its 3rd week in southern Arizona. Liz Kreutz reports investigators still don't know the details surrounding her disappearance. Investigators are not categorizing the case as any particular type of crime at this stage, adding that a burglary-robbery scenario is just one of the myriad theories being considered. The mother of Today host Savannah Guthrie has been missing since February 1st. President Trump, Nancy Guthrie's kidnappers will face the death penalty if she's found dead. A new report says Americans fronted the cost of tariffs. Tammy Trujillo has details. Data from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York shows American consumers and companies paid almost 90% of the cost of President Trump's tariffs through late 2025. A report from the Nonpartisan Tax Foundation shows the tariffs amounted to a tax increase of $1,000 per household last year. Households are expected to pay another $1,300 in 2026. The Tax Foundation analysis says the tariffs are the largest U.S. tax increase since 1993. I'm Tammy Trujillo. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is not backing down on Democrats' desire to reform immigration and customs enforcement.
They need to stop the violence. And the question that Americans are asking is, why aren't Republicans going along with these common sense proposals? They're not crazy. They're not way out. They're what every police department in America does.
Schumer reaffirmed the demands, such as agents not being allowed to wear masks, during an interview with CNN's State of the Union on Sunday. He also called ICE a rogue force that needs to be reined in. Funding for the Department of Homeland Security